Intro music slowly getting louder, slowly getting louder. Intro music, we don't know Toots. Welcome back, everyone, to the We Don't Know Toots podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Steven Schultz, and my other host is Rob Schultz.
I'm one of your other hosts, Robert Schultz.
Today we're coming in hot with a trendy, flashy, sweet little thing called Hyperpop. Been listening
Something
to
for the kids.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of it in the past week, and I've got some opinions to share.
Now's as good a time as any to remind everyone that this show is like completely uneducated and fully opinionated.
Yes, very opinionated, and we're also going through genres that we don't normally listen to. So we stuck with just the genres we listen to. We'd always be talking about how much we love the music. So
exactly. We're stepping out of our comfort zone.
Yeah,
it's good. It's for personal growth.
We're listening to what you use. We're trying to get, YOLO, if I may be so bold. So
you may.
And so that definitely was that unequivocal proof that I am down with the youth. Let's dive right in. Rob, give me a light summary of Hyperpop there. How you would summarize it after listening to it and everything. If you were describing Hyperpop to a blind person, what would you say?
Well, that's going to be tricky because, as we all know, sight is the most important part of enjoying music. So I've never tried to think about it that way. But I will say, I guess I came across Hyperpop before I realized it was like becoming a thing, and before I realized like it was even like a genre of music.
Really?
I think it came up in like my release radar or something like that at one point, and I'll circle back to that later. But I still really don't know how to describe it. Like it's very repetitive noise with generally nonsensical, like meaningless lyrics. But at this and it also, like, of all the songs I listen to, there's not like a specific sound. Like it borrows sounds from like everything, from all genres. Like there were songs that I listened to that had like heavy metal guitar riffs. A lot of them have like trap beats. A lot of them have like dubstep type sounds. Like it's a very diverse sound. So it's kind of hard to explain.
I was kind of getting the vibe that it's pretty much like any electronic sound you can make. It has probably been in a Hyperpop song
at this point. Yeah,
like if you accidentally dropped a radio while it was playing, every sound you hear as it bounces down each step has been in one of these songs.
Yes, that's correct.
It's very...
And that specific sentiment, or I mean, that general sentiment occurred to me at one point when I was listening to this, and I was like putting my old man pants on, like, how do kids like this? This is horrible. This isn't good music. But then I realized, like, 10 years ago, there was probably someone saying that about, like, Skrillex.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, dubstep. And I loved that, so.
And 40 years ago, there were people saying that about, like, punk rock and then rock and roll.
Exactly, yeah.
You were like, wow, it's just noise.
Exactly. So, yeah, I get it. And I'll be honest, like, I don't entirely hate it. I dislike it, but I don't hate it. Like, there's songs that I'm like, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible song, but it's not for me either.
I found, so like the very first playlist when we first decided we were going to talk about this, I looked up Hyperpop Classics is the one I clicked on Spotify. And
nice.
The very first song was called Stupid Horse by 100 Gex.
100 Gex, yeah.
Laura Les and Dylan Brady. And that one I was like, okay, this is, I actually kind of like this. This is catchy. So I didn't really know what to expect with Hyperpop, but I was like, I mean, if the very first song is not too bad, I'll bet there'll be some jams. But I did not find any of it that I enjoyed. To be quite
I
honest.
think 100 Gex is like the Skrillex of this genre. I think they're like the band.
100 Gex, is that how you
Because,
say it?
yeah, I guess, I don't know. That's how I'm saying it. But they were the ones that came up in my Discover Weekly like months ago. And I think it was like their breakout song is called Money Machine.
Yeah.
And I think I may have even had it in our group playlist at one point. Cause like I heard it and I was like, you know what, it's enjoyable, but at the same time I was like, even back then, before I realized what this trend was, I was like, this seems like music for someone much younger than me.
Yes. It's definitely a TikTok
And like,
genre.
yeah, it's definitely TikTok music. And like I enjoyed the song and I still have it saved in my library, but it's a different sound, that is for sure.
Yeah. And I like, so because I recognized that the one that came up in the Hyperpop Classics was Sugar Crash by Elioto, and it's like, I'm on a sugar crash, like that one. But I don't really
I'll
know
take your word for it.
like that one I recognize from TikTok. Well, I'm an adult, so I watch Reels, which is just, TikToks after everyone else has seen them.
TikToks. Yeah.
But so I recognized that. I was like, oh wow, look at that, Out in the Wild, a TikTok song, Out in the Wild. So, but yeah, that was the only one that I recognized.
Yeah. I feel like maybe you and I listened. I'm sitting here trying to look for it. I feel like me and you may have listened to the same playlist. Oh no, I just listened to Spotify's actual just Hyperpop. Oh, they called it Hyperpop. Wait, is that what we're calling it? Hyperpop?
Yeah, I listened to Spotify's
I'm getting
Hyperpop
confused because
playlist
like
as well.
Yeah, I'm getting confused because I've seen so many different terms for it as well, like noise pop, hyper pop, like all these different terms for it. I feel like I've mostly stayed within the genre though, doing my listening.
When you put on your listening ears, I had to put on my listening ears. I listened to a lot of this. It was.
I did too.
It was rough. It was. Just
I was doing it at
favorite.
work when I usually prefer to either like listen to. Well, to be honest, I guess it kind of worked because I usually try to listen to like upbeat, fast-paced stuff. So like either really hard rock or rap.
Yeah,
and
man.
I guess this kind of met that criteria a little bit. Like it, just a lot of noise. Like I said, it was a lot of noise and just like kind of almost dubsteppy a little bit. So, there was some energy there. So I guess it worked. But
So
yeah, I was not having a good day.
yeah, I would be listening to this, and there would be songs like, so like I said, A, this is a very opinionated show based totally on opinion. B, this wasn't my favorite genre, but there was one song called Spoiled Little Brat by Underscores, and it was one of those songs that just had random electronic noises, and it basically just had this like outside, if you heard this outside of a song, like if you were walking through, like you were outside walking down a sidewalk and you just suddenly heard the song or this noise, you'd be like, what the heck? Like, this needs to stop. This is so obnoxious. It keeps having that in this song, and it's super loud and keeps like on repeat. And I'm like, this is infuriating beyond belief. So I'd be like working, and that would come up and it would make me frustrated, and something would happen at work that would frustrate me. So I would just get super mad because some of this music would already have me like on edge, just like furious. It was so annoying. So, I mean, like some of it, like there were definitely songs where I was like, this wasn't bad. But then there were songs that I was like, this is very bad.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
Especially when like I'd get into the car and be like, all right, I'm listening to this. Like, I'm going to listen to this on the way home. And it'd be like 20 minutes. I've got a 40-minute drive home. Be 20 minutes into it. And I'd be like, no, I can't listen to, I want to jam. That's what car rides are for jamming. And I tried to listen to this and I couldn't jam. So it was, I don't know, guys. I don't think, I agree. I think I'm too old. I think my music choices, I'm 24, so it's not like I'm like I'm not a high schooler that makes up most of TikTok's demographics, because this is TikTok music. This is like 100% TikTok.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
And I'm not like a high schooler, but I'm still not totally out of the TikTok's main demographics, and I'm not too far.
Like
I mean,
me.
there are, yeah. Well, you're not even too old, but like,
I'm almost 30, dog.
yeah. But my age, there's still plenty of TikTok creators and stuff like that are 24. Like, I see a lot of them that are my age, so I'm not too far out of that. But I think my music choices have always been a little out of that, because you introduced me to the music that I like when you were younger. So it was like I was liking,
and I was already a few years late on that as well.
So this compared to old Sum 41 and Blink 182 and stuff, very different music and very different listeners.
Yeah.
So, but I will say that Stupid Horse, not bad.
Really?
Yeah, like I kind of I like the beat. I like the music. They did good electronic sounding music behind it, but they weren't just like making noises. Like, it was actually like electronic music that was supposed to make a sound, not just sound.
Yeah. That's how I felt. There was this one that I really liked. I don't know that I would even say that it was like, it definitely sounded like more of like a chill, okay, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There's this one song that I did like that didn't really mesh this hyperpop sound, but it was in like one of those hyperpop playlists. But it was kind of like a more chill EDM song almost, with like singing, and I quite liked it. It was called "Make Me Cry" by Astra King. And I don't know if she's like popular in the hyperpop circles, but if she's not, she should be, because I did actually quite like that song. But it didn't really mesh that hyperpop sound, so yeah, maybe it shouldn't have been in the playlist, but I don't know. I'm not the youths. I don't make the playlists.
You know what was weird though? So when I was like reading up on hyperpop and doing my little bit of research, at least according to Wikipedia, which, it's, Wikipedia, so technically I would get points off in high school if I used this as a source. But supposedly it traces its like origins back to the 80s, 1988. The term hyperpop was coined by someone. So I don't know, like, I didn't listen to the band.
I guess I kind of get that, to be honest.
It was by a band called Cocteau Twins, Cocteau, Cocteau Twins. I don't know, but like, I didn't listen to any of their music or any of the music they were talking about, so I don't really know. But I don't know like what music they were calling that. But if they're talking about the hyperpop we're listening to today, I'm just struggling to imagine, because it's England, 1980s England. So I'm imagining some 1980s British dude just jamming out to this electronic music made with machines that haven't been invented yet. It's like 35 years old. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, now that you say that, when I think of like popular 80s music, I guess I could see like, if you speed it up a little bit and throw a bunch of extra drums and hi-hats in there, I bet you could turn a popular 80s song into what is now modern day hyperpop.
Yeah.
I could see that. Like, you think "Take on Me," but then like speed it up so like he has like that hamster voice, and then just like a bunch of trap beat over it.
It still won't even be that fast. "Take on Me," dude. He just goes so slow. He's like, "Take me." If you sped that up, it would be him talking in normal speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess 2019 is when Wikipedia says like the second wave kind of emerged of it. So like that's when Spotify first made the playlist, and
I think you did more scholarly work on this than I did, because I read like 2 articles and just listened to music and took notes on what I did and didn't like.
I only read a few articles. The one is titled "Noisy, Ugly, and Addictive: hyperpop could become the countercultural sound of the 2020s. Noisy, ugly, and addictive. Your mom.
Oh,
Shame.
knockers.
Don't.
Got him again.
But yeah. So I don't know. In that article, actually, the guy says, I don't know who wrote this. It's written in 2021, so this would be an old source as well.
This is outdated.
But he says they were like the sound of a defective or damaged compact disc in one of the early players, a bodiless slice of digital information on jammed repeat.
Wow.
So he had some opinions.
What a wordsmith.
Yeah.
Is that makes it sound like he didn't like it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not. He's even grumpier and older than we are. So let's see what his name is. Is it an old man name? Paul Spella? Yeah. Sorry to all the Pauls that are our age, but
Paul.
What a ridiculous name.
That's a human name.
Well, let's see. Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't do a ton of,
But he did call it addictive.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get, like, why it's addictive. It could,
Yeah.
when...
I mean, I definitely found my head bopping while I was working. There were a couple songs.
I think there's, so our last podcast, as all of you know, all millions of you listening know, because you all listened to our last podcast, was on, excuse me, Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack.
Across the Spider-Verse.
And we had said it's that type of music that's just better with video over it. And I think that's definitely the case for a lot of this music as well. Like, you're listening to a song with a cool video over it. It definitely makes you feel more because it's two sources of information coming at you.
I feel like I've noticed that's kind of like a trend in a lot of popular music. Like, they're being made specifically with the goal of, boy, I hope the teens make this a TikTok trend.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The first time I noticed it really bad was that one Drake song where it's like, left foot up, right foot slide, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's clearly dance instructions, and it's Drake, so it's going to get popular anyways. But he just really wanted a TikTok song, and that made me cringe so hard that he felt he's Drake. It's going to be popular, but you really had to stoop to that level.
Yeah,
so I feel like that's what a lot of music is being made with these days. The goal of. And before TikTok, I noticed the same thing. Like, this seems like a song that's being made to be like a commercial.
Yeah,
like something like, I don't know. Like, I always think iPhone commercials specifically for some reason. Just they always have that. They're always very good with the underground music, but
yeah.
I don't know, I'm going down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah, well, but I definitely agree. Like, there are plenty of times where I'm sitting there and I'll see a video with a song. I'm like, man, that song was perfect for TikTok. And I'm like, oh, I would assume that's why several songs are written. Like, a lot of new stuff is definitely made to be like this section is perfect to have a video to it. Like, that will go viral. So,
hope the kids like this one.
People don't care about their music anymore. It's all just about money and not.
There's no love for the
music.
game.
Back in my day, Beatles tickets were $3, and now,
have you seen what people are paying for Taylor Swift concerts,
dude?
To sit 100 rows behind the stage where you can't even see her.
So I saw someone who flew. It was cheaper. They lived in LA. It was cheaper for them to buy a ticket to Argentina, which are super expensive tickets. I don't know. LA is a pretty huge airport, so they might be a little cheaper there than here in out of Detroit's airport. But super expensive tickets to get down to South America in the world of plane tickets. And it was cheaper for them to fly to Argentina, get a Taylor Swift ticket there and see Taylor Swift there than it was for them to just get a Taylor Swift ticket in their hometown in LA.
In LA, yeah.
She's supposed to gross over her personally is supposed to gross over $1 billion. That's just unfathomable money.
Yeah.
At that point, another We Don't Know Toots opinion. at that point, how much are you writing music because you care about music, or are you just putting out stuff so you can make more money? Which is definitely part of writing music. It's her job. That's how she makes a living. But also,
I think, didn't she just come out with an album like yesterday?
Oh, did she?
Let me see.
Oh, Steven, are you not doing your We Don't Know Toots duties? Duty.
Yeah, yesterday.
Wow. So some people on the second half of the tour.
I think, okay, it's I think it's a re-release. Yeah, it's Taylor's version. So Speak Now Taylor's version is her.
So is
like
it
the new version of an album that came out in 2010, I guess. So it's like, I don't know, I think it might be like remastered or something. I remember I've just been seeing a lot about it on Twitter, and she's saying stuff like, this is how I wanted to do things. I didn't like, I don't know if she like is free of some sort of like record label or copyright or something. I don't know.
Well, I know
I don't know. I'm not in that deep into the lore anymore.
a lot of people like say that deep into the lore.
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift lore.
I haven't watched the first 3 Taylor Swifts, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're way behind. I know a lot of famous musicians though, like don't write their own music. I think Billie Eilish has a lot of songs that she hasn't written. But so that might be it. I don't know if she writes her. I thought she did though. I thought she wrote all of her own music.
I feel like she writes a lot of it. I know she used to.
But I don't know. Maybe the producer's like, no. Who knows, man?
Dude,
I'm not much of a I don't really listen to Taylor Swift. I don't hear anything of hers where I'm like, this is stupid and trash. It's just I'm not willing to spend $1,000 to see her from so far away.
I would, even if I got into it, even if I like really got into her music, I would not be paying that kind of money.
Yeah,
there's no musician in the world I would pay that money for.
I mean, the most I've paid for a ticket would have been the first Bunbury we went to, and that was 3 full days of music.
Yeah,
and that was still only like 300, maybe
$200, 300.
Yeah, something like that. And that's probably like, I don't even think the cheapest Taylor Swift tickets was like over $400.
Ugh.
Yeah,
and that's like I said, to sit in the nosebleeds behind the stage.
Yeah,
behind the stage.
That's crazy to me. Why anyone would do that at all? Like at that point,
like you're not going to see a concert. You're just going to listen to the music.
Yeah, at that
which
point,
I'm
just
doing.
Be in the crowd that stands outside the stadium. You're hearing the same stuff.
It's just
that blows my mind.
People are idiots.
That's definitely like, you know, if people are dumb enough. Do you remember years ago? It was I want to say Drake came out with a line of T-shirts, and they were just plain white T-shirts, and they retailed for like $100. Kanye. They retailed for like $100, and people were mad at him.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, if people are dumb enough to buy those, then why not sell? Man, I wish I could sell $100 white T-shirts to people.
Oh,
are you kidding me? So, like, if people are dumb enough,
and he also had like a whole church service and was like turning his church stuff into merch.
Yeah,
like, yikes.
Yeah, that was weird. But if people are dumb enough to pay for seats behind the stage and pay a couple $100, that's not totally on you. You are kind of taking advantage of people's fandom, but at the same time, they're adults that are spending that money. And if they're doing that, in the end, it's all kind of, because I can't imagine. I mean, usually the concerts mean you go see her like $50 max.
Very cheap.
Can't imagine what I can't imagine spending 4 hours. I mean, she plays for like 4 hours, so she's doing 4-hour sets, which is absurd. I don't know how she can do that.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a ton of singing. I don't know how her voice is gonna last an entire tour, but not my problem. But
well, she's making $1 billion. She better make it worth it.
Yeah. We're definitely on a Taylor Swift tangent now, but that's okay because it's still music. And with Taylor Swift fans, they have like all those like friendship bracelets. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what friendship bracelets are.
With,
I didn't know that Taylor Swift fans had them.
All the beads with like the different like letters and stuff. I don't know. Like I was hoping you would know. I just all of a sudden, now that she's on tour, I'm seeing like friends that are going to the concerts and stuff. and they're all decked out in those bracelets. Like it's like a thing. I was hoping you had an
that's
answer to
news.
that.
That's news to me.
Well, we need our listeners to drop in the comments what the heck that is, because it's too late for me to research it now. I've already exposed
Swifties,
myself
let us know.
as an uneducated rube.
Well, we don't know. That's been made very clear from the get go.
We don't know Toots and the bracelets thereof. Yeah. So she's making crazy money off that tour. I mean, like $1 billion. You can't even spend $1 billion.
No.
Like, what do you? I don't know. You could do some crazy stuff with $1 billion. You go to space, man.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like sitting here trying to think, like, what's something you could spend the most amount of money on? It's like building and owning your own, like, building and owning your own, like, space operation.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking, let's see here. How much was the space station? Let's see how much that thing was. Okay, well, that's 150 billion. So
she could build an orb in Las Vegas is what she could do with $1 billion.
How much did that thing cost?
I think it cost $1 billion. Or maybe it was $2 billion.
People are really mad at that, I think, because of like there's homeless people and stuff. That seems super cool.
It's super cool. It's pointless and why, but it's awesome.
Yeah. It's Vegas. That's a Vegas thing.
Yeah, I saw a video, like one of the little overlays was like a gross fleshy eyeball.
Ew.
I was like, who wants to drop acid and go sit outside the Las Vegas orb?
While listening to Taylor Swift, watching this
While listening to Taylor Swift.
So here's
in the 150-degree heat.
Here's what Taylor Swift can do. The Burj Khalifa was only $1.5 billion.
What is that?
That's the tallest building in the world in Dubai. That's huge. Yeah. So, I mean, she can make another 500 million. So she look, if she pays 1.6 billion, she could make the new tallest building. She just has to add another $100 million worth of building on top.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. She should do that.
That's all we got to do. Come on, Taylor.
There you go. If Taylor really wants to do something good.
If I wasn't rooting for you before, I am now. Yeah. I want another skyscraper in Dubai. I've always said there aren't enough.
Every time I go, when I'm summering in Dubai, I don't know what season. I don't know. That's probably a very hot time to go to Dubai. I don't know.
Probably not ideal.
But anyways, Taylor Swift, Hyperpop. I would probably rather listen to Taylor Swift, I guess. I don't really listen to much of her stuff.
I absolutely would.
Yeah. But some Taylor Swift Hyperpop now, how much would that tour gross?
I feel like Hyperpop is too niche of a genre for that to like really make a significant dent or like growth in her fan base.
But Taylor Swift is such a broad genre that I'm talking if it was Taylor Swift Hyperpop and Taylor Swift just came in one of the songs, so people still get to see Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, that would be huge for whoever got that.
If they're willing to pay $400 to sit behind the stage and not see her, then they're definitely willing to pay $250 to see her in one song and then sit through the rest of our Hyperpop Taylor Swift set. So
that is true.
I'm taking a business approach to music now. I'm creating what people want to hear, because this will be the highest grossing tour of all time. Taylor Swift's is her Eras tour.
Yeah.
It's poised to be the most profitable music tour ever. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. I saw I just watched this video, the biggest concert in the world.
It was Metallica, wasn't it?
Yeah, like in music Yeah, because it was Metallica, like just outside of in Russia, right? Like right after the Cold War.
I think so.
Did you watch those videos?
I think I watched that video. Yeah,
dude, it was like I don't want to.
Because it was like 1 million people, wasn't it?
No, it was like 10 million.
How do you even like? That's New York City coming to see you.
That's more than New York City's like.
How do you control that?
New York City's like 8 something, I think. So that's just like, at what point does it stop
See,
becoming
we make fun of Taylor Swift fans for paying $400 to go stare at the back of the stage. How are you the 10 millionth person? What are you getting out of that?
That's what I was saying, is at what point does it go from you're at a concert to you're walking by and you hear in the distance, because 10 million people, like
10 million people. That's like I'm in LA when Taylor Swift is performing in LA. I was at the Taylor Swift concert.
I was in Detroit when she was in Detroit. So that's like me saying I was at Taylor Swift concert. That's crazy, dude. I'm pretty sure it was Metallica. But yeah, it was like right after.
I think so.
Right after the like Cold War or something like that. But yeah, the pictures just of the crowds. I'm like,
yeah, it was insane.
Whoever guy 10 million is just. That's the number I remember. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like 10 million was not correct. I think it was just a million.
No, it was more than that. Let's see here. They're playing in Russia. Let's see here. Metallica, biggest concert ever. Here we go. Moscow. Okay, well, here's one that's 1.6, but I'm seeing another concert that was Rod Stewart. That was 3.6 million.
So, like, also at that point, how are you counting that? Because, like we said, like, being in the same city does not count. And there's no venue in the world that can hold 1.6 million people.
Yeah, there's just, yeah.
So, like, how are you counting that the last couple 100,000? Like,
yeah. And on the other hand, though, can you imagine, let's just say, so the whatever one I just saw was Rod Stewart in 1994 at Coboca Band Beach playing to 3.5 million people. Can you imagine being so famous that at one time, just one of your concerts, 3.5 million people are willing to come see you? Like that's a bigger population than several U.S. states.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't imagine being that famous just in anything. Like, I mean,
and you're assuming each one of those people paid $50 back then.
Yeah, that's a
lot of money.
Yeah, it's like, granted, in a couple years when we're doing our live podcast, I'm sure roughly that many people are coming to see it. But
I'm counting it.
Still hard to picture.
We'll have to worry about that when we get there, though.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Then
soon.
We'll know how Rod Stewart and Metallica felt.
Yeah, I mean, we're creating content based on the same thing.
Yeah, we're garnering the same fan base at this point.
Yeah, but it's. Well, it was just weird to me that concert happened right after like the Cold War or something like that. I don't know why, but I was just kind of like, that seems random, right?
I don't know. I mean, it was. I'm sure everyone's spirits were like high.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they were.
Hey, we didn't nuke the world to death. Let's party.
Yeah.
To heavy metal.
Cool. I wonder if the world's ever going to have like cool. You look at like concerts like that and like Woodstock. Are there ever going to be like these iconic, go down in history music things like that anymore?
Taylor Swift's tour,
yeah. Well, you point to like the specific things like that Metallica concert. Like people aren't pointing to tours and be like, this tour. Like they're pointing to tours and be like, this was so expensive. But you see like Woodstock.
I think one that will go down in history is the one Travis Scott threw where there was like no security and a bunch of people died.
Yeah,
I think that one's
that one will be known for a while. That was absurd because he just like saw it happening and just let it happen. Like he saw the things happening. He just kept going.
He's like, 12-year-olds are dying because they wanted to see the Fortnite guy on stage. Cool.
And then I remember his shoes got pulled from Nike when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, I actually really wanted those Air Maxes. So I was going to try for him. And then I'm like, what?
Well, that's all I have to say about Hyperpop.
Yeah, that's all I had to say about Hyperpop. And that's pretty much all I had to say about Taylor Swift, too.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, but I was gonna ask. Speaking of concerts that you and I attend, are we still planning on doing the New Found Glory?
Oh yes, I am definitely planning on.
Has that been official? Okay, good.
I'll be there.
Good.
For straight up, for sure, bro. Like I'm
Straight up for sure.
like I'm not even joshing with you.
You're not just joshing around,
No, sir.
having a wee bit of a laugh.
We nipple you of a lot. Yeah. So we'll have some live reviews for the New Found Glory concert there, guys.
We could try to figure something out for that. We can maybe make something out of that.
Definitely make some social media content. I mean, we already have a lot.
Yeah, I don't want to oversaturate our page.
Overstimulate people's senses too much. Tutory. Too many. I already overload my senses with my Toots. Can't imagine how other people would handle it. But yeah, that's all I've got too. So
Yeah, I figured this would be one of our shorter episodes.
Yes.
Just because it's not something we're super all about.
there wasn't much to talk about with Hyperpop. There were so many artists.
Like I said, it's a niche. Yeah, there's so many artists, but it's still very niche. So
Yeah.
it's not like
Like I scroll through.
not a lot going on currently.
I scroll through the playlist and like you go to like a pop punk classics or something like that, you're definitely going to see like a couple from Sum 41 and from Blink 182 and from Fall Out Boy.
and then
You're definitely going to see like repeat bands, but there was just no repeat artists or bands.
Yeah.
These aren't really bands. I guess these are probably just solo. I would assume Hyperpop for the most part,
just
solo.
100 Gex.
Yeah. So
100 Gex is like the band, and that's about all you're gonna see any repeats from.
yeah. But we can. How about we move on to our song recommendations then, Rob? I've got mine.
Go for it.
All right. I've got a couple weeks ago when you were in town, I was jamming out to my Discover Weekly because it was pretty nice with it that week. And I've
Yours has
got
been on point recently.
yeah, Bad Habits by Fiddler I don't know if it's Fiddler or Fiddler.
Oh, I think I know that song.
I remember playing it in the car with you because it started off really quiet and I was just like, I didn't remember because I had just found it and I was like, what the heck? So I like turned it way up and then it just had like the breakdown and I was like, ah. But that's a jam for sure. So if anyone's looking to, I don't know how to describe it. It definitely gives me like a rock song in a movie, I don't know, kind of vibes, but I like it. I like the kind of sound where they're like almost not screaming, not yelling, but almost yelling, singing. And it's not even like that good of singing. Like if you heard this guy singing,
punky, grungy kind of.
yeah. If you heard this guy like singing, just going down the street, you wouldn't be like, dude, you are a good singer. Like that is a beautiful
You wouldn't
voice.
ask him to sing it. You wouldn't ask him to do the music special on a Sunday morning service.
Yeah, he's not leading the church choir, but definitely like I like that style of music, and that's what this is. So I definitely recommend Bad Habits by Fiddler.
Nice.
But what you got for me?
So Odessa came out with a new single like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I saw you post
And
that.
I've had it on repeat. I love it. I saw on Twitter because their last album was called The Last Goodbye, and people took that to mean like the final album, like we're done.
Yeah,
And I guess I apparently at one point they had explained what The Last Goodbye means, but it apparently did not mean retirement. Again, I'm not up on their lore, so I don't 100% know what it means. But people were like legitimately complaining, like, "Oh, so much for The Last Goodbye." It's like I thought you were fans, like.
chill out. I would be very thrilled if a band I thought was done forever.
Heck yeah, dude. Because they stay, like, they aren't on social media. Like, they aren't super active on social media. So, like, the only time they get active is, like, when they're about to release new music. So, like, you don't hear anything and all of a sudden it's like, hey, new music tomorrow. And then they dropped Heavier. I don't know if I said that, but Heavier is the name of the new song.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice. I'll give, I listened to the short, I think you, like, shared, like, a blurb of it on your Instagram story.
Yeah,
right?
I put on my Instagram story.
So I listened to that quick 10 seconds. But I'll give that a listen.
For sure.
hit it up with my old sound mouths, which is what I'm calling my ears now. My sound mouth.
I believe that's the proper medical term
Whatever.
anyways.
If you really want people to know what you're talking about. Well, there you have it, 2 smoking hot recommendations. And if I had to recommend one Hyperpop song, it'd be the only one I like, and that was the Stupid Horse by, what was their name?
Wait, is it Stupid Horse like the animal, or
Like-
whores like prostitutes?
Like the animal.
Okay, I thought you were talking about prostitutes.
No, the animal, Rob. This is
Okay,
a
that makes
Christian
more sense.
podcast. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Well, then if we're gonna also recommend a Hyperpop song, I would say "Make Me Cry" by Astra King.
All right. Yeah, 'cause
Not
that
a
recommendation
terrible
is the only
song.
one I can muster up. I'm going to be honest. I am sorry to all of you Hyperpop fans, and I respect the only music recommendation I'm going to disrespect this country. I respect your music choice.
I respect the kids, and I respect freedom of expression.
I respect you saying
So you
you,
go ahead
just
and-
don't want to understand Dad. I get that.
Yeah,
But if I
I've
had
been there, pal. Been there.
if I had a son and he's like, Dad, I've got a concert, I want you to take me, I'd be like, sit. What is it? And they'd be like, Hyperpop. I'd be like, I'll wait in
You
the
can go by
car.
yourself. You're 10. You're old enough to go to
Yeah.
another city by yourself.
Just find a random stranger who has an open hand and hold it for the whole time, and they'll get you back to where you need to go.
Nothing weird will come from there.
So there you have it, tutors. Whether you're an early morning tutor, midday tutor, or a night owl
Or
tutor,
everything in between.
anything in between, we've got some steaming hot recommendations for you. So go ahead and give those a listen. Let us know how you feel.
Also, if there is a good Hyperpop song out there, let us know about that one too.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll
'Cause
definitely.
I'm not saying there are, so I've got an open mind.
Yeah, I just count on those Spotify when we're covering a topic I don't know about. I rely on Spotify to give me the best of that genre. So we'll see.
And I depend on the fans.
Yes,
Keep us in the loop. So
give us those ones you don't really know about, but it's like, oh my goodness, this is straight gas, bro.
it's team effort tooting out here.
Yeah. So
All right.
for all of us over here in the We Don't Know Toots studio, this is Steven Schultz signing off. Thank you, and happy tooting. News music. Add some news music in
Toot you
there.
later, Bill and Ted.